Hi, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Our topic for today is the money in your trading account safe. This is a commonly being asked question, especially nowadays. Easily you put a few thousand into your trading account. Some of you even put 5 digits, 6 digits, or even 7 digits into your trading account. So this is a question commonly being asked by many of you. Whether is our money safe in our trading account or not? And this is even more common way back in 2008. Why this is way back in 2008 is so common, later I will explain to you through one of the famous movie. Now before I start, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and on your notification bell. My name is Ting Ting. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Now this is a disclaimer. Our topic for today is only meant for education purposes only. There's no buy or sell call. Now this is the first movie I'm going to introduce to you called Too Big to Fail. And this is a very interesting movie based on the true story happened in 2008 based on Lehman Brothers and what is happening subsequently and before it collapsed, what is transparent within all the banks itself. Now, this is very interesting, and way back in 2008, many of the retailers started to ask this question is because of this collapse of these Lehman Brothers, and they are the top 5 biggest banks in US itself. In terms of investment banks, they are the top 5, and subsequently they collapsed, and they have more than 100 years of history. So people are questioning why it's so big. An investment bank, they also fail. And commonly for retail perspective, let's say for example in Malaysia, if you are a blue chip stocks, meaning you have many years of history and you report very good so-called as consistent results, and why you will fail? The chances for it to fail is relatively low. So when it happens in 2008, it shocked the whole industry, and subsequently you will see many issues happen subsequently. And if you would like to know what is happening, you can go and search for this movie. Very interesting and very nice movie, very easy for you to understand. Just go and search for this particular movie and go and watch it. And because of this particular movie itself and or this particular incident, especially in Malaysia, subsequently 2 years to 3 years, every one of them, when they open their trading accounts, they tend to ask whether is it safe or not, whether should we have a investment bank or not, whether this brokers is it a bank or not. These are the common questions being asked. So later I'm going to discuss with you whether in terms of Malaysia perspective, is it safe when you put your money into your trading account. Now, before I start, even we are going to discuss whether is it safe or not. First thing we need to understand that whether when you put your money into your trading account, is it a licensed trading participant or not? Now, in our industry, we call it as a trading participants. I'm going to use a layman terms which you understand the best, which is broker. So we are going to discuss. First thing, you must make sure that when you put your money, you are putting into a licensed trading participants. If not, the rest we are not going to discuss because there is no point for it to discuss as well. There's a reason why in the industry there are many of you're going to discuss, when I put, although it's blacklisted under Securities Commission, is it safe or not? Or subsequently, is it good enough for us to put the money in or not? Some of the so-called as brokers, the foreign brokers, they are not so-called as illegal, but technically they are not licensed in Malaysia. So if anything happens to them, it's very difficult for you to go into legal proceeding in Malaysia from Malaysia perspective. So maybe you need to go to that particular foreign countries and you need to start with the legal proceeding. Might be cumbersome for you. So the first question is, sometimes under this blacklisted, it doesn't mean that they're illegal. But if you want to be more safe, you need to make sure that it is under Malaysia, so-called as legal or so-called as act or so-called as governed by the rules in Malaysia itself. So first thing, make sure that it's a licensed trading participants. So where can you find these licensed trading participants is you need to go through bursa.malaysia.com, then you click on trade, then subsequently you click on brokers for derivative. It will be a list of brokers for derivative near to 20. We have near to 20 brokers in Malaysia in terms of futures license. Then these are safe. So once you click into it, you can see a whole list of brokers, they are licensed, and they go in accordance with the alphabetical orders, then you can search for it. Their contact, their emails you can find as well. You can open your accounts with them. Now, once you open the accounts with them, before we move into understanding whether is it safe or not, we need to understand this clearing and settlement process. If you don't understand this clearing and settlement process, you will not know where those money placed, because it doesn't mean that we open a trading account, then the money is placed in that particular trading account itself. So we need to know where the money is. Then subsequently, we will need to understand whether is it safe or not. So try to understand this clearing and settlement process before moving into whether the money is safe or not. Now, part of it you might not be able to see, but don't worry about it. Those important parts I'll highlight to you. Now, first, we are going to start with the clients itself. As a client itself, we need to know we are the major parts to look into it. So starting from the clients, once you place an order, I repeat, once as a client you place a trading order, normally we place a trading order. Technically, although right now you go for online, you go for electronic perspective, but this is some things that you can't see, but actually behind that, your orders will go through your trading participants first. So this trading participants is what you meant as brokers. So your orders actually go through trading participants, which they set whatever rules that they want. Then once they check the orders, then they move into the exchange, which is the Bursa Malaysia Derivative Exchange. Then subsequently, once the orders fill, you move to Bursa Malaysia Derivative Clearing. So once the orders being cleared, then it will move back to your clearing participants. In Malaysia, it doesn't mean that you have a license to become a trading participant. You will have a license to become a clearing participant as well. There are two different licenses. So technically, just for understanding, Malaysia technically, majority of the brokers, for retail perspective, the brokers that being used by retailers, normally they have both the trading participants and also clearing participants license as well. So they have both, so don't worry about it. Then subsequently, once cleared through the clearing participants, then technically what clients receive is your statements, your contracts, your statements. So this is something that is transparent to clients as a client itself, as a retail itself. So technically what happens here is not so important. What happened at the bottom is more important, because your money technically parks with the clearing participants itself. So once cleared, you will get the statements, and this is some things that we need to take note. So this is some things that we need to move into it. Even you're having a license to become a trading participant is not so important. If you're having a license to have a clearing participant, this is some things that we need to look into it. Now in Malaysia, technically the first stage of safety is from these particular rules or so-called act. Malaysia, we have Bursa rules and also even Capital Market Services Act that governing this. So the first thing is brokers will need to segregate clients' asset and also the company asset. So as a brokers, they have their all so-called costs and expenses, daily costs, daily expenses as well. This must be segregated from so-called as retail banking. For example, I'm banking a sum of money. So this sum of capital need to be separated. So let's say, for example, anything happens to the company itself, this is a segregated account. So technically it's safe for client itself. So first thing that is so governing and helping our retail is this particular rules or act, segregation of assets. So anything happens to our brokers, it doesn't impact our retail when we put our money into our trading account. So first thing. But you know, even in Malaysia, right, we even have traffic rules, etc. But many of us, we beat the traffic rules, right? We break the rules, and we even drive when we see a red light. We never stop. And even right now, during MCO, we need to wear face masks. But Is it every one of us wearing face masks? So when human being is involved, it tends to break the rules. So let's say if anything happens to these rules, that people are not following the rules, there's a second layers or second levels that is going to save us as a retailers when we put our money into our trading account. This is what we call it as a measure by BMD, which is a Bursa Malaysia derivative, and SC is Securities Commission. They set out a fund. So technically in these funds, let's say for example, they have a fixed and variable contribution by those license holder. So let's say in Malaysia we have near to 20. So let's say every of the brokers, they must put in 1 million. Let's say for example, they are being instructed to put in 1 million. This is the fix. So as long as you have a license, then you need to put in this 1 million into these particular funds as a measure. Then subsequently, they have a variables. These variables is based on the market situation. For example, if more people is trading into the market or more so-called as open position in the industry, which is a higher risk, then based on the market condition, they have another calculation. So let's say, for example, every brokers would, based on what they calculated, every brokers will need to put in 500,000 as a variable into these particular funds. So technically, every brokers already contributed 1.5 million into this particular fund. So if we have near to 20, let's say I routed it to 20 brokers, right? 20 times 1.5 million, they're already a huge sum. Not only that, even with that, this already governed. One technically, based on their analysis, is until level 3 already more than enough to cover. But if really still anything happens, level 4 and level 5 will have even contribution by BMD itself. They have another funds, big sum of money put into this particular fund. So in total, from brokers itself and from BMD itself, the fund in totality already a very big funds. So anything happens, let's say for example happens to broker A, so they will need to knock off from these brokers itself the funds contributed. If cannot, then the rest of the brokers will have to contribute into this fund. So technically, if even still cannot from BMD itself, they will contribute towards that. So technically, for retail, is very safe. When you put your money, as a conclusion, when you put your money into your trading account, it is very, very safe. So don't worry about it. If you still find it not comfortable, the last perspective that you can do is you separate your trading account, meaning you open a few different brokers, then you put your money. It's like when you put your money into your saving account, because PIDM, every account only governed for 250,000. So technically, if you're anything more than that, you try to open for different banks, from different banks itself. Because every accounts, they will govern 250,000. So it's the same thing. If you have more than that, then that's it lah. Then maybe you will need to put into the same account. You have no choice because you have limited banks as well in Malaysia. So the same thing. So technically, as a conclusion, before I end, I just would like to say that don't worry about it. Whatever money that you place into your trading account is very safe. You can just trust it with it, and you can just trade as you like. So happy trading. Before I end, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and on your notification bell. We are going to see you in our next session. Bye.